Hello and welcome, it's Dr. Drredfrizzle here. In my last video I discussed with you diet, drugs and health, and in this video I'd like to talk to you a bit about different diseases. So, first of all we need to look at the microorganism level of structure, because what we need to know is we need to know on the cellular level what type of cells cause particular diseases and stuff. So, first of all we have three types of cells. I mentioned these before in a previous video. Anyway, you have fungi, you have viruses, and you have bacteria. Now I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about the different structures for these particular types of cell. So what does fungi have? Well, first of all, it has a cell membrane, which is this bit here. I haven't drawn that very well. It's meant to be a circle inside another circle. This is our label cell membrane. This thing on the outside, so this bit here, I really haven't drawn this very well. It's actually supposed to look like that. And so on the outside, it's called the cell wall, the layer on the outside. And inside our fungi, we have little circles, which are food molecules. Now the cell just basically uses this for nourishment. It produces this. Also inside a fungal cell we have a nucleus, as you should be aware by now, the nucleus controls the activities of the cell, so I'll show that in a bit more. And we also have something called the vacuole. Now down here I've got virus and bacteria. Your virus, I'll draw you a little tail, because they do have tails. This is your virus, and all this has is on the outside there's a bit called the protein coat, and on the inside it's got a little squiggly bit in the middle that's called strand of genes, I'm going to write, which is basically DNA. Your bacteria at the bottom here, this has no nucleus for a start. It has a double membrane again. The outer one's called the cell wall. The inner one's called the cell membrane. The cell wall in this particular type of cell is actually quite soft. And inside, we don't have a nucleus in our bacteria cell. What we do have is cytoplasm, which is the jelly-like substance. You actually have cytoplasm in this as well. But anyway, cytoplasm, and you have a strand of DNA again. Right, so these three cells, they basically lead to certain diseases and stuff. So I'll just talk to you in a little bit more detail about these particular types of diseases. So, what we have is you can have fungal infections, so you can have like athlete's foot. You can also have things like ringworm and nail infections. Now, there aren't just fungal infections. All these three cells lead to infections, so I'll label you some from other ones. So the viruses, you can get MMR, which is measles, mumps and rubella. There's a couple of letters to remember. SLS. Basically this means that measles affects your skin and lungs. Mumps just affects your salivary gland, which is in your mouth, which helps you produce saliva, which keeps your mouth moist. It's like liquid in your mouth. And R stands for rubella, which just affects your body in general. You don't need to know too much detail about these particular infections, but you do need to know that they're there and that they're caused by viruses. Virus is this thing here, and there's been some sort of debates and stuff about whether a virus is alive, because it doesn't actually carry out all the life processes all the time. So remember we discussed Mrs. Graham before, which is the way that to remember the particular life processes, the 7 life processes. The virus doesn't always carry out all of them. However, it can be active or inactive, and when it's inactive, it's just lying on the skin, not doing anything. When it's active, it can get inside your body, but it needs to use cells to like function and to multiply. Because basically what it does is it alters the DNA or the genetic information of the cells. You haven't come across genetic information before, I shouldn't imagine, but all it is it's basically the instructions to make new cells. Is basically all you need to know about that. The other thing you need to know is that bacteria and stuff can cause a variety of different diseases and stuff. So bacterial infections can be anything from let's just write you down some. So food poisoning is caused by bacteria. You get things like salmonella, which is a particular type of food poisoning, and a lot of other bacterial infections and stuff. So there's a couple of bacterial ones, and then you've got obviously fungal I've just listed there. Viral, measles, mumps, rubella. You can also get like common cold, chicken pox. So I just write CP for chicken pox. You can get common cold, so I write CC for that. And that is pretty much all you need to know about how cells like cause particular diseases. You also need to know about vaccinations. And what a vaccination is it's where, you know, you get injections from like needles and stuff. So I'll draw you a very basic sketch of a needle. It's like a long tube-up thing that people sort of stab into you. And what this basically is it might sound horrific, but it's actually for your benefit. So what happens is it injects a dead or weakened form of a particular pathogen, which basically means disease-causing microorganism. So any of these, which basically it vaccinates against. You can vaccinate against viral infections, and this is primarily what happens. So you get a dead or inactive form of this particular virus here, which is injected into you, which stimulates your immune system, which is cells like white blood cells that we haven't discussed yet. All white blood cells basically do is you have 2 types that you don't need to know about the individual types, but I'll just quickly discuss them with you. You have a type called phagocytes and a type called lymphocytes. Lymphocytes generally help clump the pathogens or disease-causing microorganisms together. Phagocytes come along and ingest or envelop, or whatever you want to call it, where that they essentially, I don't like this word, but I'm going to use it so that you know what I'm talking about. They eat the harmful microorganisms. It's called ingest or envelop because they basically just, the cell, it's much easier if I actually draw it. Comes along like here. This is your harmful microorganism, and this is your phagocyte, and it ends up just being a little gap in the middle of the cell with your particular enveloped pathogen. Then what happens is this pathogen is broken down. I'm not going to go into too much detail with that because it's quite a lot to remember. The other thing that you need to know about is you also need to know about how particular diseases and stuff are spread. So you can have airborne diseases, so these basically spread across the air. You can have waterborne, you can have contact spread, and basically the contact ones are the ones like supposing you touch someone, if you've got a virus on your skin or something, that virus can pass from one person to another. So that can cause like a cold or viruses, and it's more commonly spread by like coughing and stuff, which basically, like when you get infected, you cough, which means that your germs spread and they can spread to other people. I discussed in a previous video that you should cover your mouth when you cough. That's basically why, so you don't spread the infection to other people. Waterborne like cholera is a disease that's waterborne, which can spread in your drinking water. So suppose when you drink some water, if it's infected by it, you're going to develop cholera. It's a very nasty disease. there's animal spreads, so animals can sort of spread certain diseases, so if you touch animals and stuff you can get them. The other thing is that you need to know that certain ones of these, suppose you have like fungi and bacteria and viruses, but they don't all cause certain diseases. Okay, thanks for listening. Goodbye.